Revolutionary greetings. Haki, kweli, Shakur, coming at you tonight. Wanted to make this real quick video because a lot of people ask me questions about what is ancestral veneration and what is this so-called, you know, I don't really like to say ritual, but in modern terms, that's what it's called to most people and what they know about it. This African, giving thanks to the ancestors and doing your little rituals or whatever, to commemorate your ancestors and to salute your ancestors and to bring your ancestors forth. And this is my little ancestral veneration that I do. So I'm just going to explain it a little bit for the people who are curious, that be always asking me what do you do if you don't pray. Like most people pray, most people meditate, a lot of people vibrate. I deal with the ancestral veneration. What I mean, I give thanks to my ancestors. I mean, it's all the same thing, but I like to do it indigenously. What I mean, so I just stick to the indigenous culture, which is nature. Giving thanks to nature, giving thanks to the Creator, and giving thanks to the ancestors, most important, because your ancestors are always with you. They're always here. So, evoke them and show them love, man. That's what I do. So I'm gonna just show you my little ancestral veneration as I'm rebuilding my altar right now. So it's not in full capacity, but it'll get there because my last one got kind of messed up. So I'm rebuilding my new one. And I'm going to just show y'all what I do as far as paying homage to my ancestors. It's all about bringing them forth and evoking them and giving thanks and showing love to them. That's all you do. You can make your little offerings to them, whatever. So give them some water, libation, fruits. I mean, if you're dealing with the Ife, you can. It depends on what Orisha you're more in common with and have a connection with. What I mean? Because Orishas is nothing but energy forces of nature. So it's like you can do that also. You can give thanks to the Orishas or whatever Orisha that's your guardian. Orisha, and you can make offerings to them also. And things like fruit, food, water, But I deal strictly with giving thanks to my ancestors because I know my ancestors is who the shoulders I stand on and the ones that's always walking with me. And what do I mean by ancestors? No doubt, we use the word ancestor in all in all types of ways. We could be talking about the ancestors as far as African people, period. That have passed, that have sacrificed their lives for the, struggle of our people. That's like the overall ancestors. But the ancestors I'm speaking of is your bloodline. Like, the most important thing when you're doing ancestral veneration is your bloodline. It's your bloodline ancestors. And those the ones that you should be getting in contact with and showing respect to and showing love to. And if you don't really know all of those ancestors, it's a part that I was explaining to this queen the other day. Like, you don't have to really know all your ancestors by name, because most of the time when I'm doing my ancestral veneration, I'm calling out my ancestors' names, which I'm not going to do in this video because that's my ancestors, so there's no need for me to call out their name, but I'm still going to show you what's up. It's important to let your ancestors know, unknown and known ones, that you may know of and you may not know of. And you can just bring them forth by just saying, all my ancestors whose blood that pumps through my veins, please come forth. That's all you got to do. If you don't know their names, just say the unknown ancestors whose blood pumps through my veins, which is your family ancestors. So it's like, call them forth, and you can kick it with them, talk to them, because they're going to be in the room once you bring them forth. And you can come forth with your problems, what you're dealing with. You can help them you know, you can ask them for help. You know what I mean? You can help them for guidance. You know what I mean? All that. So I'm gonna just go ahead and quickly and show you what I do. And I started reconnecting with, far as me and my ancestral veneration. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna just show y'all real quick what I do. It go like this. You know what I mean? Um, it's basically it's two words in the ether. We're dealing with the third dimension and the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is the spiritual realm, which is the heavens, the universe, because heaven is nothing but a metaphor for the universe. So, in Ifa, in Yoruba language, the universe or the heavens is called Ikole Orun, which is heavens. That's who you. Basically, spiritual realm and the universe. This is where you bringing your ancestors from, because that's where they at. They're in the ancestral space right now. You know what I mean? So when you bringing them forth, you bringing them into the Ikole Aye, which is the earth. You know what I mean? Bringing them into the, you know, bringing them back into the, you know, the third dimension where we are right now, because we're in the third dimension. You know what I mean? We're on Earth. You know what I mean? So it's like you got to bring your ancestors first. You know, bring them forth. So this is what I do first. You know, a lot of people, you know, a lot of cats, you know, they use sage. You know what I mean? You know what the sage is. The sage is the little sage. You know what I mean? You got to purify the air first, so the ancestors can come through the gateway. You know what I mean? So I use incense though, because incense is ancient. It goes as far as back as antiquity with all our ancient overall ancestral race and ancestral lands. You know what I mean? So I use incense to purify my air and to keep the negative forces, the negative energies, and the negative spirits away from my altar and away from my personal space and gateway when I'm bringing my ancestors forth. So this is what I do. I light my incense. You know what I mean? Light the incense up. When I light this incense, I just you know, I just wave it back and forth across my altar, purifying the air so my ancestors can come through. You know, the air is one of the most important elements of the four cardinal points. You know what I mean? So that's what I do. I you know, and then I say, I like this incense. Let this incense to purify my aura, purify my air, so my ancestors can come forth through the gateway. So I'm purifying the gateway so they can come through, keeping all the negative energy and all the negative spirits away. You know what I mean? That's what I do right here. And then I just, you know, you can keep the incense lit or you can put it out, but I just leave my incense lit. And when I leave my incense lit, I just let the smoke, you know, purify the air some more. And then I get to the part, you know what I mean, where I offer them some water. But first, you know, you gotta light your candles, you know what I mean, because the candles is the fire. So the fire is what's going to open them gates and bring your ancestors forth, you know what I mean. And then, you know, we use the cigar to the last stage of bringing the ancestors forth, you know what I mean. So light the candles next, and that's the fire that's burning within you, and the fire that's going to ignite, you know what I mean, in a spiritual way, in a spiritual force. One of the elements, another one of the elements, we're dealing with the number 4 today. The number 4 is symbolic because it's the 4 cardinal points, the 4 elements, you know what I mean, which is fire, earth, air, water, you know what I mean. And it's also dealing with your 4 corners of the earth and the 4 corners of the multiverse and the 4 corners of the universe. You dig? So it's like we're dealing with the directions, the four directions, which is north, east, west, south. You know what I mean? Those are specific and sacred directions, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go ahead and do this right quick. First I light up my white candle, which is the purification candle. you know, to set the whole thing off. So I just light my candle. You know what I mean? I say a juba, which is blessing in Yoruba language, a juba. When I light that candle, um, I light my other 3 candles up. I save my last 2 white candles for last because I'm the ones that's gonna bring my ancestors forth. You dig? So I light my other 3 candles. A juba, a juba, a juba. Bless. So I light them candles up right there, and usually I do my ancestral veneration about, you know, when I come to them anytime I want to, you know what I mean. But it's a specific period that I also observe also, which is like every 3 months, on the third month, every 3 months. I take like 7 days out that month, and I do it straight. I pay homage to my ancestors 7 days straight. It's important to do that. Like this is just the way I do it. Like 7 days out of every 3rd month, I just set this 1 week out where I just praise my ancestors and bring my ancestors forth and do my ancestral veneration for 7 days straight, because you know this number 7 is also sacred to African people, African spirituality. You know what I mean? So that's what I do. You know what I mean? That's my little ritual. So on to the next step, which is the last 2 white candles. You know what I mean? These are the candles that I'm gonna bring my ancestors forth with. So I light the candle and be like, as I light this candle, may the fire from within open up the gateway so my ancestors can come through. I light the candle. As I light this candle, may the fire from within open the gateway for my ancestors to come through. And so that's what I do right there. You know what I mean? And my ancestors starting to come through. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm at my stages. So now I'm to the stage where I gotta light my last stage of the ancestral veneration, invoking them and bringing them forward with cigar. I mean, a lot of y'all, you don't got to do that because a lot of y'all probably don't smoke, but I don't smoke neither. So it's like I just inhale it and blow it out and do what I got to do to open that gateway so my ancestors come forward so I can chop it up with them. So that's what I do. Light up the cigar. You know, the cigar is symbolic, dealing with African spirituality and dealing with the orishas and dealing with, you know, indigenous spiritual systems. When you paying homage to your ancestors or the orishas, that smoke you pulling it in from within, and when you blowing that smoke in, that's your ancestors. You know what I mean? When you blow it back out, you open up that gateway for your ancestors. You dig? So that's what I do right here. You know, man, I light up the cigar. That's the most important part to bring my ancestors for. Light up the cigar. When I light up the cigar, it's the 4 steps, man, to bring your ancestors forth. I go like this. I blow up, blow left, blow right, blow down. And what that is, when you blow up, you bring your ancestors forth from the universe, the 4 dimensions of the universe. When you blow it left, you bring your ancestors forth from the 4 dimensions of the bit/ocean, the primordial waters. And when I blow it to the right, you know what I mean, that's bringing them forth from the 4th multiverse, you know what I mean, into the 3rd dimension. And when I blow it down, the most important, the sacred part is the earth. I'm bringing my ancestors back out that dirt, out that earth, you know what I mean, from the inner core of the earth, Mama Earth, and I'm bringing them forth from the 4th dimensions of the inner earth, man, you know what I mean. So here we go. When my ancestors come forth from the 4th dimensions of the universe. When my ancestors come forth from the 4 dimensions of the bit/ocean primordial waters. When my ancestors come forth from the 4th multiverse dimension. And my ancestors come forth from the 4th dimensions of the inner earth. Now they're here. They're in the room with me. As I love to put the cigar out. Some people leave the cigar on. I put my cigar out because of smoke. You know what I mean? The ancestors up in here now. And once you get done with that part, you know what I mean, you greet your ancestors, and when you greet them, you know, this what I use the Yoruba word Juba, blessings. Um, and you know, you ask your ancestors, you know, you just talk to them normal like you be talking amongst yourself with your somebody that passed away and transitioned into the ancestral realm. You know what I mean? You ask them how they doing or whatever. But you know what I mean? This is what I do first. You know what I mean? Make an offering. I make an offering with the water, and you tell the ancestors, you know what I mean? I hope this water gives you uh, the hydration, and hopes this water cools you, and hope you're satisfied with this cup of water that I'm offering to you. So I'd be like, ancestors, may you accept this water, or either you can pour a libation out for them right here on the floor or wherever you at, and I'd be like, ancestors, may you accept this water. I hope this water hydrates you, and I hope this water satisfies you. And you put it on the altar, or whatever, and let the water evaporate, and let them suck that water up for the next 24 hours, 48 hours. And once you make the offering, you this is what I do. My next stage is I call each one of my ancestors' name out, and when I call out each one of my ancestors, the transition, I say their name like 3 times to bring them forth, which I ain't gonna do right now because that's what I do personally. But once I start naming them off, I'm naming them off, and telling them to come forth. And once they come forth, they're in the room. You know what I mean? And once they're in the room, you can, you know, come to them with your problems. You can do a little prayer with them, and tell them you love them, and you just break down the 4 steps. You can ask them for guidance, ask them for wisdom, courage. The most important is guidance. I might have already said that, but you can ask them for strength, ask them to help you with your problems that you're going through, whether it's financial, whether it's your health, anything that's affecting you and your, you know what I'm saying, in your life. But it's really, you know, getting the power from them to come forth, to give you the strength and to walk with you to handle any of your problems, because it all deals with self. Because the self is the most important thing that's important when you dealing with the ancestral veneration and trying to help get your problems fixed, man. But you gotta do it yourself. You just can't ask the ancestors for their help and don't do nothing. You know what I mean? Once you know what I mean, seek their guidance and all that, and bring forth your problems with them, you gotta get on that mission, man. You know what I mean? Self-determination, and handle no problems, and let the other part of that situation that the ancestors play they have on, let them handle that. They gonna handle that. You know what I mean? The ancestors gonna be there with you, man. You're gonna get your strength from them. This is where I get my strength from. You know what I mean? It don't make no sense for me to go ask nobody else, you know what I'm saying, for anything that I need, when I know I got people who transition, you know what I mean, who pumps through my veins, and I can call on them, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna call on no foreign gods, I ain't gonna call on no foreign deities, you know what I mean? I'm gonna call on my blood related ancestors who died, you know what I mean? And some of your ancestors died for you, you know what I mean? So it's like, get in tune with your ancestors, man, is what I'm basically trying to tell you. So after you do that, you know what I mean, kick it with them, you know what I mean, you can play music with them, talk, you know, just chill with your ancestors, man, chop it up. You can drink with them, you know what I mean, nothing wrong with taking a little sip of some wine or some liquor or whatever, and just chop it up with your ancestors, you know what I mean? And once you do that, you know what I mean, you can leave your candles lit and just meditate. Like a lot of people meditate. Like I meditate sometimes, you know what I mean? I don't do it all the time, but sometimes I just sit here and just let the candles burn and just, you know, watch the incense smoke, and I can see the ancestors playing with the incense smoke, you know what I mean? It's real deep, man. It's all about the mind, you know what I mean? If you really love your ancestors, you know what I mean, you're gonna believe in them being there with you, man, because I know my ancestors are around me all the time. You know what I mean? Especially my brother. So I always salute him. You know what I mean? And my other blood related ancestors that I might not know of. You know what I mean? And once you call them out, and once you know, call them all here by name or whatever, and that's when you ask, you know what I'm saying, you do the part where if you don't know the ancestors' names that passed away, you don't know none of the people that passed, we just say, you know, may my unknown and my known ancestors come forth who blood pumps through my vein, like I told you earlier. And wants to hear, you know, just chop it up, man. As you can see, that's my altar right here. I'm going to step back for a second. It's my altar, you know what I mean? I got to get some more candles or whatever, you know what I mean? And some more, you know, African cultured up artifacts, some relics, you know, to fill it out. But, you know, I got all my traditional stuff, my beads, stuff my ancestors had. And yeah, and last thing before I shut the video on, you know, put pictures up of your ancestors that passed away on your you know, shrine, your altar, and put them anywhere all over your shrine, you know what I mean? And I got the blade with the red, black, and green on it. That's symbolizing Ogun, you know what I'm saying? Ogun, the Orishas, you know what I mean? So it's like you can decorate your shrine with the Orishas, you know what I mean? Because you can also give thanks to them or your specific guardian Orisha that you are connected with, bro. You know what I mean? So I just want to say, give thanks to the Ifa, you know what I mean? Give thanks to the Orishas, give thanks to the Creator, Olodumare, and most important, give thanks to my ancestors, man. You know what I mean? I love my ancestors, so this is just my little short video I'm messing around with, showing y'all my ancestral veneration, man. So I'm gonna sign off right here, and don't forget to pour that libation out, and don't forget, you know what I'm saying, to salute your ancestors, because that's what it's all about, man. They're here with you, man. So I'm gonna sign off right here, man. Much love, boy. Haki, kweli, Shakur. You know what I mean? Give thanks to your ancestors. Ashe. I'm out. 100.